Hey guys, CoolCheese here, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's Destiny 2 video, we're going to be talking about the sandbox, and what, in my opinion, is one of the biggest issues with Bungie's balancing of weapons within this video game. This video is going to be a little bit less scripted than some of my other ones, so bear with me if it seems a little bit less organized or anything along those lines. So one of the main things that's really frustrating as a Destiny 2 player is the balance between guns that are supposed to be very strong within certain situations and guns that are just powerful overall. Bungie time and time again throughout this game has kind of made the balance between these two types of weapons really bad. Ever since year one, there's never really been a reason to use something like Risk Runner, a weapon that strives when you're taking arc damage and is really good when you do that. But if you take something like Recluse, or even Huckleberry, it's just a way better option overall because you don't need to get hit by arc damage for it to have that much power. This also isn't just limited to power. It's also related to ease of use, skill level, and things in general. If we take a weapon like a shotgun like Mindbenders, and we take the Mountaintop for example within PvP, yes, Mindbenders is the harder weapon to use, and if used effectively does get a little bit more reward. However, the ease of use from something like Mountaintop, compared to the vast amount of reward that you get for using it, is clearly unacceptable in the PvP environment. Bungie, throughout Forsaken and now into Shadowkeep's years, has done a really poor job at introducing weapons that are cool concepts, hard to use, but worth mastering. You take things like Mountaintop, you take things like Lord of Wolves, these weapons are really easy to use. And yet, even with their ease of use, they still, for a time, have been the top contenders within the meta. Having these weapons that are insanely easy to use and really just kind of brain dead really makes PvP not fun and makes you have less of a reason to invest time into it, become a better player, and overall have fun with the game. Bungie can say all they want about reinventing Crucible or having a renewed focus on PvP, but if these core issues within the gameplay aren't addressed, nothing's gonna happen. It doesn't matter how good the core fundamentals of Trials or Survival are, if the metagame isn't fun or engaging. Things like Mountaintop, things like Revoker, things like Lord of Wolves for a time, One-Eyed Mask, and Teus Words, I can go on, all make the game very uninteresting and unrewarding for skilled players, and really kind of block new players off from the PvP experience. I see a lot of the time people blaming things like teabagging, toxicity, recovs, the loot system for reasons why PvP is kind of at this shit show that it is right now. However, in my opinion, this wouldn't really be an issue if the base gameplay was really fun to play in the first place. For example, I am a tournament player, right? And in tournaments, I have a lot of fun because of our custom rule set and kind of a enforced way to make sure that only the kind of rewarding but skillful guns are used. However, if I go into something like Trials, I am forced to play against people using Mountaintop, forced to play against people using Revoker, forced to play against people using Antaeus Words, because those are the best options. Then it makes me inclined to teabag them, inclined to be toxic, and then those players, even if they weren't trying to be a dick, are completely alienated from the PvP community because Bungie has forced them to use these weapons to play well. Now I'm going to talk about things Bungie can do to fix this problem within PvP. So one of the steps that they've already taken is sunsetting. Sunsetting makes it so that weapons like Mountaintop and Revoker have their time to shine, but don't get too annoying for being in the meta for over 3 years. This really ensures that weapons that may be not as skillful, but are still fun to use, can still be used within a certain time frame before they get annoying to the player base as a whole. However, Bungie can take this the wrong way. If Bungie continues to make weapons that are kind of skillless to use and more of just fun guns rather than precise, skillful weapons, then we're gonna have the same problems, just with a new name placed on top of it. This leads me to solution number 2, which is Bungie designing more skillful weapons. So, personally, I was very excited with the weapon Fellwinter's Lie being added. I thought that it was just going to be a Mindbender's clone, but it was just looked like a D1 shotgun. However, Bungie brought it back with a twist. They basically made it a little bit harder to aim than your average spread shotgun like Mindbender's. However, they rewarded you with an extra meter of range. If this is the direction Bungie's taking with new weapons, I couldn't be more than excited. Bungie needs to focus on making these weapons harder to use, yet more rewarding, while still having weapons like Mindbenders in the sandbox. My final solution for Bungie to fix the weapon problem within Destiny is that they either need to nerf exotics that are really strong all the time, or buff exotics like Risk Runner that are very strong situationally. If you take something like, let's just say, Huckleberry versus Risk Runner, there's no reason to run Risk Runner when Huckleberry does almost everything better and it doesn't need to have arc damage. In a similar manner, if you take hand cannons like Thorn versus Malfeasance, yes, they are different archetypes. However, Malfeasance is supposed to be more of like this Taken weapon or a Gambit weapon that does really well in those certain activities, but is kind of a little bit weaker when it comes to everything else. However, if you really think about it, Thorn is just a better option. It does better against Taken, it does better against Invaders, and it's just a better weapon in terms of PvP, PvE, and Gambit. If Bungie can take strides to making the balance between these unique weapons and these universal weapons, then I feel like the sandbox will be in a great place starting this fall. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. I know it's a little different. This is more of like a letter to Bungie. However, I'd like to hear what you guys think about this issue in the comments below. I know that I am definitely more of a hardcore player, playing endgame PvP, PvE, and basically anything in the game that is considered any endgame. So if you guys are more casual players, or if you're more invested in PvE, I'd love to hear your opinions on these topics, so leave them in the comments below. Anyways guys, make sure to check me out at twitch.tv/CoolCheese101, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.